Hi guys, hi everyone. How are you doing today? If you can hear me, if I'm very audible, please type something in the chat. Type something in the chat. I want to know if I'm actually very audible. Right. I'm gonna check other platforms to see if we're also live there. Okay, great. Good. Welcome everyone. Welcome to today's session. Today we are talking about something very interesting. We're talking about how to build games in Python. Um, this is going to be a very interesting session. I'm so sure you have gotten a run through of what Amazon Q is. Amazon Q is what we are going to be using to create these games in Python. So I'm going to turn off my video and share my screen, and then because of latency issues, and then we can kick it up from there. So give me 20 seconds. Thank you. All right. I'm right. I'm sure you guys can hear me now. Okay. Let's get to it. So I'm going to share my entire screen, and we're going to build a game today. There's a game I already have built earlier. I'm going to try and find that Pac-Man game. Let me know if you can see my screen. Just put it in the chat. Put it in the chat if you can see my screen. Okay. Yep. Yeah. So I have built this game earlier, and the idea is we are going to use Amazon Q to create a game. I'll tell you what Amazon Q is, how to get it, how to install it. We'll go through all the steps, and then we would create this game. But first of all, I want to show you one of the games I built earlier. Um, 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 um. It was created with this was actually created with JavaScript. Um, Give me a few seconds. All right, apologies for that. So I'm just going to continue where I stopped. So this was just a game I built earlier, and I'm just showing you that it is actually possible to build a game in Amazon Q. All right. So let's play this game for a few seconds. Yep. So this is Pac-Man. Yep. So that's pretty much it. So this was built on JavaScript, but we're going to build with Amazon Q this time, right? And we're building in Python. So we already have a set of instructions to follow, but I don't think I want to follow that instructions. I'm just going to go and do a freestyle, and we will just create a random game to show you how easy it is. It is actually the instructions we are meant to follow, right? This is the instruction. This is the kind of game we want to create. But I'm thinking that we should create something a bit more, something we can all relate to, a game that we've played since when we were kids. So we are going to create something called Tetris. I'm sure you guys. Very, very slight technical issue, and we apologize for that. So we're back. We're back. So I want us to create something called Tetris. Um, yes, so Tetris is one of those games we created when we were kids, and we loved Tetris a lot. It was something that we also used to call it brick games, right? So I want to show you that it's actually very easy to create this thing in Amazon Q. So what exactly is Amazon Q, right? So Amazon Q is actually a generative AI assistant, right? Amazon Q is a generative AI assistant, same way you have ChatGPT and all that, but this actually has more agentic capabilities. I hope I'm still sharing my screen. If you can see my screen, okay, I'm sure you guys can see it already. Yeah. Okay. So it actually has more agentic abilities in the sense that it helps you write any code. It helps you with your building process as a developer. Now, Amazon Q, as the case may be, is 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 something you can install in both your. There are two ways to install Amazon Q. So you can install Amazon Q as an extension, or you can install Amazon Q as a CLI, right? So yes. So Amazon Q helps you write your code, and it is an AWS service, very intelligent. Even if you don't know how to code before, you have no idea about what you are going to do today, Amazon Q is going to assist you with that. So I noticed that there was some prerequisites for us in this event. There's some prerequisites for you to follow. You need to have Python installed. You need to have at least a 4 gig RAM in your computer, and all that. So what we are going to do now is just going to start from scratch. So if you have an IDE, or if you don't have an IDE, go ahead and download VS Code. We'll be using VS Code today. So VS Code is actually an IDE you use to create your code. It is what I have here, right? So I'm just going to create open a new window, right? So this is VS Code here, right? So if you have VS Code, we can now go ahead and download or install Amazon Q, install Amazon Q as an extension. So if you come here on this left-hand side, you should be able to see these extensions here, and then you search for Amazon Q. I already have that there, but you can just search for it here, and you should see Amazon Q running here, right? So you just need to click install, and it's going to install Amazon Q. So for those who do not have it, you can go ahead and start installing Amazon Q. Remember, once you have Amazon Q connects to your AWS account. Amazon Q connects to your AWS account. All right. I'm trying to see the guys on site if there is any issue with the guys who are in the University of Ilorin. I'm just going to check up on them to be very sure that they are following what we're doing at the moment. So, give me a bit, because there's no point doing a live stream if the people who I'm supposed to take on the session are not actually following. Oh my God, I'm not sharing my screen. I thought I was actually sharing my screen. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. Okay, okay, so we're sharing now. Um, Please confirm if you can see VS Code. Just put it in the chat there. Put it in the chat that you can see VS Code. You can see my screen. Put it in the chat if you can see my screen. All right. So I'm just checking on those who are on site to see if they are following up with what we are doing. Yes, so as I was saying earlier, you need to download Amazon Q, right? And Amazon Q, if you download VS Code and you come here to extensions, you should be able to see Amazon Q here. I still need to check if I'm still sharing my screen. All right. Yes, yes. So Elias Rufai says yes, he can see my screen. Yes. Thank you, Elias Rufai. So on site, can you see my screen? So on site says they can't hear me. If you can hear me, please let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. So yes, I'm guessing you guys can hear me. You can put it in the chat so I just know what's happening, because I'm sharing my screen and I might not be able to view my chat at the same time. All right, or respond to personal messages at the same time. Okay. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. Thank you so much. Habib says he can see my screen, but there's an issue with the on-site people. On site, he said there's an issue with their sound, but I need to continue because we have an online audience. Um, they said they have a sound issue from the people in University of Ilorin, but we still need to continue, and I can always go back and then we'll create a new game. So let's just continue. Um, yes, so that's how you download Amazon Q. You install it, and then you connect it to your AWS account. So you need to have an AWS Q Builder account, and that is how you connect to it. There's always this button down here. If you haven't connected, this Amazon Q button in the low left corner of your screen will be red. Then you click on it and you should be able to connect to Amazon Q. Or once you check the once you check the chats panel, I'm going to open that now. Um this chat panel, you should be able to see a button that tells you to log into Amazon Q. So let's go straight to it. So the first thing we need to do now is to install Python, right? So you can always install Python. You can always install Python from the website. So if you go and do Python download, you should see download Python here, and then you can download it here, right? You should see download Python there, and then you can download it here. Okay, so make sure you are trying to download Python 3 because that's the latest. And then once you've downloaded it, it's going to take some time to install. You can follow the instructions on the screen while you're installing it. I'm saying this for those who haven't installed Python before, who haven't used Python before. Once you install it, you should see some directions on your screen on how to proceed with every other thing aside that. So once Python is installed, we can now open our terminal here. To open your terminal is just Control tilde button, and you will see the terminal here. Once the terminal is here, we can now check if Python is installed. And because we installed Python 3, just checking if I'm still sharing. Okay, good. Because we installed Python 3, you can just do Python 3 version. Sorry, Python 3 that's version. And so we can see the Python version here that we are running Python 3, 13, and 7.7, right? So we have Python installed. So the next thing we are going to use is something called Pygame, right? So if you go on here and search for Python Pygame, Pygame on GitHub, you should be able to see Pygame here, right? So Pygame is actually a free and open source platform cross. It's just a free and open source platform you can use to create video games, right? So that's what we are gonna be using, Python 3, and installing it is actually very simple. You actually need to have pip to install it, right? Pip is a Python package manager. Okay, so it's the same thing as npm in JavaScript, right? So you're using pip to install it. And if you want to install pip, it's actually very simple. We can even ask Amazon Q on how to do it, right? So in this place, I can just open a new tab and I already have pip installed, by the way. So if I do pip 3 version, you should be able to see that I'm running pip 2.5.2, right, on this Python. So if you don't have it and you want Amazon Q to do it for you, you can just say install pip for me, and it's just going to go ahead and start installing everything. This is the command to actually install pip. You can either run it manually here, right? Or you can just click on this run icon and it's just going to do that for you. So before we move on to every other thing, I'm just going to show you around Amazon Q. We have this chat section here, and then it's also using this LLM called Cloud Sonnet. Cloud Sonnet is the Sonnet 4 actually is the LLM, the large language model we are using. Now, if I want it to help me run all my code, and as I'm doing things, it's helping me doing all those agentic capabilities. This is the button you click here. So if you turn this off, it's going to turn off agentic coding, right? If I turn this on, it's going to turn on agentic coding. So for some people who are already developers, these are just going to be basic for you. But we are trying to consider others who are not developers on this call, right? We're considering those who are not developers.
Um, my father is not Nigerian. Um, um,
Yes. So we're considering those who are not developers. Let me just quickly check the chat again because I'm moderating and also coding at the same time. All right. If there's anything you can't hear me, or there's too much noise, or the screen is I'm not sharing my screen properly, just put a message in the chat and I'll be able to assist you there. All right. So great. Great. So we've turned on agentic coding. If I tell it to install pip for me, even if you don't have Python and you want to install Python, just tell it install Python, install Python 3, and it's going to use those agentic capabilities to install it. Because I'm using Mac, it's going to use Brew, and then the steps and steps like that. It's the same thing with ChatGPT, but this has agentic capabilities. It can modify your code and also make updates on your system if you allow it to. So that's like the basics of using Amazon Q. There's also this context here. There's also this context button in case you want to reference your workspace, or you want to reference a folder, or you want to reference files or code or prompts, or you even want to add an image. You can use this at button here. You can use this at button here to do all of that for you. All right. So the next thing now is for us to create our folder, for us to create our project folder. I'm just going to click open folder here, and I will be creating a new folder, and I'll just call this Pygame. All right, and then I'll click on open. All right, so we now have this folder panel where most of our code would be on. All right. Sorry, please give me a minute. Okay, great. I'm sure you already have Python installed and you've created your folder, your project folder. Um, yep. So the next thing to do now is to install Pygame, right? We can also ask Amazon Q to do that for us, or we can do it manually. So we check our Python version, we've done that. We check the pip version, we've done that already. We're just going to close this project and have a new project here. Let's do that again. Because we installed Python 3, it's not going to be Python version anymore. It's going to be Python 3 version, right? Because that's the version, the latest version of Python that we've installed. We can see it there. We can also then check our pip version. So it's saying pip that is not found because what we installed initially is called Python pip 3. So if you do this, you should see that pip 3 is installed. If you can't do that, use Amazon Q to help you do all of that. Use Amazon Q to help you do all of that. So now let's install Pygame. We can just do pip3 install Pygame, and then it's gonna install it. It's saying the environment is extremely externally managed. So this means that when you're running Python, you need to have something called a virtual environment. So it's not advisable to install packages globally. You need to create a virtual environment where you can install most of these things. So I'm just going to check um, what we have here. Okay, we have 7 people. Yep. So let's create a. Just going to increase this a bit. Let's create a virtual environment. So I'm just going to do Python 3 dash m Python 3 dash m venv. All right, guys. Sorry about the disruption. Sorry about the disruption. We had a little technical delay. So I'm just going to go back to it again, and then we're creating a Python virtual environment venv. All right, and then we need to activate this virtual environment. So it's going to be source venv slash bin. slash activate. All right, so if you can see this here, it means you're actually in that virtual environment. Please, if you can hear me and you are following up, please just indicate in the chat below. If you can't hear me, also indicates in the chat below. All right, so I'm just going to continue. So we've already activated our virtual environment. Now we can install Pygame, right? We'll just run the previous command we ran before, pip install Pygame. So Pygame has already been installed. I think there's a command there to check the version, but we won't be doing that because we already see that the Python game, the Pygame 2.6.1 2.6.1 is what is already installed. All right, so let's create the game. So what we are basically doing is something called vibe coding. I'm sure you guys already know this before. Vibe coding, very essential. You can create almost anything now, especially if you have some developer experience. It makes the work easier, you know. It makes the work easier. Um, okay, yeah, back up. All right. So the idea was to create a game called Tetris because Tetris is something we love as children. I'm just going to show you what Tetris is for those who don't know. Tetris. So yes, this is Tetris. Some people call it brick game. I remember when I was a child, we used to play this a lot. This was the version we had this game here. This was what we used back then, and then things got advanced. Yeah, so we will be creating that game, and it's as simple as actually just telling Amazon Q to create this game for you, and we will just do that with a single prompt, and then we will debug and iterate as we go. So I can just say create create a game in Python Pygame. So we we want to create Tetris. So before I do that, I think there was a command here to run sample of this game. So if you check this here in this Git repo, I'm just going to put that in the chat. I'm just going to put that in the chat here. The Pygame Git repo, GitHub repo. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we can just copy this to run a sample. This is before we run our command here on Amazon Q. Okay, it says hello from Pygame community, and it says there's a boss error. I think this error is actually related to some this package, right? So let's just create our regular game. So I'm just going to click this. I'm just going to Python quit and crashed. Okay, so this is peculiar to my own. This is peculiar to my own computer. It might not happen to you. So I'm just going to check Python version again. Oops. So we can see that Python is still running. So let's quickly create a game in Python. So what Amazon does is going to use its agentic capabilities and then start writing these files for the game. So you're saying I create a minimal Tetris game using Pygame. And it's checking the current workspace to see the folder, and then now it's gonna start typing, creating these files. As a developer, you should be able to understand what is written, but it is still creating those files for me. So now I created something called Tetris.py, and then I can see the code here. Um, sorry, just give me a minute. Give me a few seconds to set something up. All right. So let's get back to it. Just going to quickly write that code. He has written the Tetris.py file, and then the requirements.txt file. Okay. And requirement.txt file is already there, and it's just going to create something very very basics, and then he explains all the things I need to do. There's a lot of noise where I am, so I'm just moving to a different workspace. All right, so we have this, and the next thing for us to do is to install. The instructions are actually there, so this is something you can do by yourself, right? It's not really hard to do. That's why it's called vibe coding. So we can now install Py 3 requirements, right? So the only requirement here is this file. It wants to install Pygame. We already have that before, but it still wants to do that. So let's just do it, and then it's going to install the requirements. All right, so this is installing, but it seems we already have Pygame already installed. So what we can do now is just to um, just play the game, right? So we'll do Python 3, and then we call that file Tetris. All right, so we have this basic game running now. This is very basic, and we can see that we don't have much going on here. So I'm going to ask it to add a few features here, right? So let's ask it to create a section by the side to show the next coming block in the game. So pardon the noise around me. There's just an unfortunate construction around. So it's saying here, I'll modify the church is going to have a preview section. Actually, that's what I mean, showing the next piece, right? And we can literally see what it is doing. So it is writing that code and adding this. Once it's done, we can see the difference in the code. So if we look here now, we can see here, this is the tiles. It's creating the pieces actually. Creates the pieces here, and this creates the like kind of like the constant, and the constant really is like the width, the window, the width, the height. You can adjust all of that by yourself manually. So we can see that it has added 20 lines and removed 2 lines of code, and with that it created a preview window, and then it created a new piece function, and then you can see all of that going on there. And then this is the new piece function window, where it writes, it's going to draw the preview, draw the box and the pieces and everything. This is pretty simple. If you have a time, you can look into the code and all of that. So we would run this game again. It's still installing here. Let me just stop this. Let me see if you guys are following through. Oh, great. So run this game again. Now we can see the next piece, but there's a problem going on there, right? So we see that, okay, the next piece actually does fit. It actually does fit, but there's some issues there. So what we can do now is we can tell it that, okay, so with left and right buttons, we can just tell it to add the directions, add the directions for game control on the bottom corner bottom corner of the preview section. So with this, you can use this to create almost anything, build apps, build other professional games, add other plugins to make it more complex and all of that. So we have seen what it has done here, what was added, font initialization, control instructions displayed, clean and simple, show text showing the arrow controls, those kind of things. So we will run that again. And there's some issue with the controls. They don't actually look as they should. Okay, I can actually just tell it that the controls are not showing as they should. So controls the direction are not showing properly. All right. So if we do that, we can just iterate on the idea and keep expanding it, making it look better, adding more features, pushing to GitHub, and all of that. Right. So it has made that one line of code adjustment. If you do that again, so it actually made a cheat sheet. It actually cheated. So left, right to move, and down to drop. Right. So that's pretty much it. We can add a pause, a start, stop, and pause. Add, start, stop, and pause functions. So these things are very, very simple. The idea is to use Amazon Q for your development, games development, anything you are trying to do. Amazon Q actually does it for you. All right. So this would be our last update to this code. We can run it now to see. So we press space to start, we press P to stop, we press space to start, and then P to pause. Right. So that's pretty much it. We created this Tetris game. The initial game we wanted to create is not as cool as this, but I think this is very cool. And you can create other kinds of games. For those who are joining really late, I would show you a retro game I created earlier. It's called Pac-Man. Um, let's just open Pac-Man. So that's pretty much it for this particular one, this particular game. Um, Pac-Man. I'm just going to open that project. So you don't really need to know how to program to use Amazon Q, but programming actually gives you an edge. Just in case there are bugs, you know where to fix this thing, and it's actually coding agnostic. You can write code from any programming language. Okay, so this was actually created in TypeScript, right? So I'm just going to run this npm run dev, and then you can click on this, and we have this game also. All right. So yes, yes. So I'm just going to stop this, and that's pretty much it for today's session on creating games using Amazon Q. If you have any questions, you can just put it in the chat box below. So we're already 15 minutes past the time. 15 minutes past the time. So if you have any questions, you just let me know. So while I'm waiting for questions, I'm just going to stop sharing my screen and just wait for questions. So I'm going to check on those on sites in University of Ilorin to see if they are following up with what we're doing. Let me just check up on them, and I'll be back in a few seconds. All right, guys. We'll be ending the live stream here. I noticed the online audience actually followed through, but the audience in University of Ilorin had some technical issues, and I would have to join another stream to assist them, but that won't be live on YouTube. So, thank you everyone for attending today's session. Thank you everyone for using Amazon Q. See you guys next time.